Hello folks, hope you're all doing well. From everything in your lives everything in your lives are progressing normally. How's everyone doing? Evening Durdu. Cura Dam Legion. Flaming Neko. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Matthias, as always. Welcome back. Mr. Awesome, welcome back. I'm doing good, living life. Good. Good. Excellent. So am I. I was a good boy, went to the gym today. So I look at my weight almost every day, and I've been saying to myself that I'm not going to, undo all the good progress that I've made. Because over Christmas, I didn't go to the gym because it's just too cold. I can't be bothered, right? Yeah, I'm too lazy. So I've been putting off going back, hopefully till the spring, when it gets more warm. Because I was thinking, if I can maintain my weight at what I was when I stopped going to the gym, then that means I'm on a really good platform to lose more when I go back, right? Because I'm going to be pounding it when I go back. And I had this weight in mind of like, if my weight goes above this, then I've got to go back to the gym early. And it did. Like today, I weighed myself and I was like, oh, there we go. Right? It's not heavy at all. Like it's only like a few pounds higher than what I was when I stopped going to the gym. But I was like, no. I made that promise, I'm going. So I went. And it was good. It was fine. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Yeah. Like I think stress and anxiety over the last couple of weeks has given me heart palpitations. So every now and again I'll get a little twinge. But since going to the gym and really pounding it, that's really equalised everything, and I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more, equilibrium restored sort of a thing. Do you know what I mean? Gotta say, I'm starving right now though, so I'm gonna go eat in about an hour, I think. But yeah. Still awake due to IBS pain, but yeah, doing all right, I suppose. Yeah, IBS it sucks, man. Like my sister has that through anxiety and stress. Everyone's got that these days, but I will say this: I never knew. I was always one of these people who was like, "Listen, man, are you really stressed, or are you just being a bit of a pussy?" Only when you've started to go through something that was really, really stressful. And the weird thing, your body reacts in really strange ways, right? So my body reacted, in the moment when the stressful stuff was going on, I was fine. As soon as the stressful stuff went away and I was done and it was finished, that's when it broke down. That's when my body went, yeah, I've had enough of this, and just broke down completely. That's when that happened a few weeks ago, start of the month. I know. February is my birthday month, but I can't wait to get February out of the way. Yeah, Carol says, Grug lift heavy rock to make voices in head quiet. Yes, exactly. Exactly, yeah. It did feel much better when I got home. And even in my body, I felt really, really loose. And oh wow, okay, that feels really. I feel normal. I feel like I felt right before all this started. It started to creep back in a little bit now when I'm starting to get a bit more, not lethargic, but tightness of chest and stuff. But hopefully it stays away. I don't know. That should be fine. Flaming Neko says, I hate gyms, but I want to exercise, and I can just go for walks due to cold. You can't just go for walks due to cold. Okay. Yeah, I mean, good thing to do in the gym is just go on the old treadmill, right? Get your Get your treadmill on the go. Get your earphones in. Don't look at people. Just ignore them. Just do what you want to do. Go on the treadmill. You know? I did the bike today and then treadmill. I was there for about an hour. Just over an hour. It felt really good. It felt really, really, really good. Get a punching bag and a picture of someone you hate. Yeah. Thing is, when you've gone to the gym as well, is your brain sort of switches, so immediately you stop thinking about getting junk food and you start going, well, I'm not going to undo my good work in the gym because I suffered there by eating stupid stuff when I get back, right? I'm going to actually be good. I'm going to actually eat some good stuff. So tonight, me and the missus are having a steak, a chicken breast, both pan fried, because it's just nicer that way, and that's the treat. And broccoli, veg, and a few other bits and bobs tonight. Very high protein, very low carb, very tasty. That's the main thing. Best way to go to the gym, just lock in, focus on yourself and power through. That's it, yeah. Lock in, focus on yourself. Doesn't shut up the voices for me, the treadmill. Yeah, well, everybody's different. Everybody finds their thing. I listen to a book when I'm on the treadmill. Usually I'm listening to something historical, like an actual history book, because following along on a story is a bit too, it requires a bit too much of my brain when I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. Because a treadmill is a thing where you can just do it, but you've also got to also concentrate that you're not stamping your foot on the front of the treadmill or something and tripping yourself up. Dan Bleeding says, watch out for the protein farts. Oh, dude, I've been on a protein high diet for 6 months now, so I'm alright. When we say protein high, over Christmas it's gone down a bit, but I've still kept my protein up. You know what I mean? I do screenwriting while I do the elliptical. How? I need something to tear the focus away of how much I hate exercising. Well, that's one of those suck it up, man. That's one of those suck it up moments. Yeah, it's one of those suck it up moments. There aren't many of them when I'll say suck it up, but that's one of them. When somebody says, I don't want to exercise because I don't like it, that's when I say, get over it, dude. Get in there. Stop being a bitch. You know? If somebody says, I'm self-conscious about other people at the gym, yeah, I get that. That one I'll work on you with. But if somebody says, I don't like going to the gym, so I'm not going, not that you're saying that, but if somebody said that to me, that's when I would say, no, go to the gym. I position my laptop so it won't fall. Okay. Elliptical machine. I want to know what that is. Oh, that thing! Oh, yeah. You can use an elliptical, I guess. Yeah. You'd have to be very careful, though. Alright. So today's a big one, and I'm going to need your help. That's what she said. Today is a rather large... Again, that's what she said. A rather large topic, where we're going to be talking about the Death Guard and Mortarion. Now, I need your help with this one, because I know a lot of you have watched a few of these before. So much has gone on with me that I can't really remember where Mortarion was in the Exile verse. Can anyone remind me of where we left Mortarion? Like, what? I know he did something. Did he get banished? Did somebody banish him? Was it Angron? I remember not. Dan Legion says, I can't afford the gym. I already have one expensive hobby. Yeah. Well, the gym should be £20 to £30 a month, right? I don't know. So somebody remind me of where we are with Mortarion. Angron fought him and banished him. Okay. In that case, we need to give Mortarion some love. So what I need from you guys now, because we know where his story in the Horus Heresy ends, so what we need to do is we need to figure out what his story is before the Siege of Terra, right? How he becomes traitor, and then we need to do how he comes back to 40k, right? Alright, so first of all, in the Exile verse, as you all know, the Emperor sent the Primarchs, the nascent Primarchs, the young Primarchs off into the galaxy in their pods. Not because he wanted to, but because there were certain worlds out there that he absolutely needed to conquer, or needed the groundwork laid in. So he knew most of these guys would venerate him as their lord, genetically, do you know what I mean? So, as soon as they saw him, so he sent them out to these planets to secure them, so they could grow up and sort of become their kings, these worlds. Why was Mortarion sent to Barbarous? Alright. Why was Mortarion sent to Barbarous? We will do the Dusk Raiders as well, yes. Why would Mortarion, why was he sent to Barbarous? There was a reason why, and I'm going to disqualify ancient technology. We've done it too many times. And I'm going to disqualify Necron tech. It's kind of the same thing, but you know what I mean. Disqualify Necron tech and ancient technology. Good for you, board. Good for you. Yeah, I'm not sure why he should be in Barbarous. It's one of the... Now that I've taken ancient technology out of it, you know, maybe to get rid of a psychic threat as Flaming Neko. That's a good one. He is anti-psyker. Yeah, I don't want our Mortarion to be a hypocrite, by the way. You know? In fact, I've got a good idea of why Angron banishes him, right? When we get to it. Remind me of this. This is my idea, just so I don't forget it later on. I think Angron should banish Mortarion because Mortarion refuses to use his psychic powers. Because he hates himself, right? But if he did, he'd just annihilate Angron in 2 seconds. But he doesn't, right? The Psychic King adopted Mortarion. Okay, why not a different planet? He could do, but I like Barbarous as a homeworld name of what it is. Also makes more sense for Mortarion to be obsessed with poisons if he's on a very poisonous planet, right? Alright. I quite like the psychic threat. What could the psychic threat be? What could it be? I have an idea of a psychic mist, right? That covers most of the world and transforms and mutates most of the world. Yeah? And it is so virulent that it can actually spread to different worlds. And it has done. Like all around Mortarion sector, it spread to all of those worlds. But the actual linchpin of the threat is on Barbarous. And that's what Mortarion is sent there to deal with. So he goes down there and he sees all of the ravages of these Psyker Lords who are using the mist for their own ends, right? And he starts to lead the people in rebellion against those Lords and eventually destroys them, right? The Psykers were attempting to open a warp rift. Maybe that is true, yeah. Maybe if they get this plague on all those worlds, it will open a warp rift to Nurgle. Maybe it's bringing through Nurgle's influence. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, his world is infested with Chaos Mutants and he becomes the hunters from Bloodborne. That's cool, yes! Alrighty. Okay, I think we got a thing here. Start poll. Alright. Let me just get rid of this wire so it's not in the way. 1 second. There we go. So, Morty sent to Barbarous to stop Nurgle Warp Rift, becomes leader of hunter-like folks from Bloodborne. Right. Alright. So, Mortarion is sent to Barbarous to stop a Nurgle warp rift, but he becomes a leader of hunter-like forces who resemble people from Bloodborne, right? They're walking around like really gothic Victorian cities. Be pretty cool with gas masks on and all that. Very World War I-esque. He's walking around doing all that. They are witch hunters. Yeah. He leads a sect of witch hunters that go around and generally people start following him. You know, that's cool. I like that idea. We also say like if there's a 75+% swing, right, and you vote no, and this is like yes is 75%, and you vote no, you need to give us a reason why, because just voting no doesn't do very much. So in our current guise here, Mortarion's going to Barbarous, and he's there to stop a Nurgle warp rift from opening. Now he doesn't know it's Nurgle, of course, right? But he's the most staunch, the most, you know, level-headed of the Primarchs, or at least he's supposed to be. And he goes there to stop it from happening, right? He leads a load of witch hunters, and they go around these massive Gothic and Imperial Gothic Victorian cities, killing psychers, right? Killing sorcerers and things. He's a big hater of all things sorceress. Maybe we could tie Mortarion's witch hunters with the roots of the Inquisition. That'd be cool. Do these witch hunters become the founders of the Inquisition? That'd be cool. Can somebody remember? I swear we touched on the Inquisition earlier. Can somebody remember? Didn't somebody else lay the foundation of what the Inquisition was going to be? I swear they did. If you remember, let me know. If you remember, let me know. I'm not sure we had somebody else doing the Inquisition, but let me know. I'd be okay with doing that idea. I think that's a good idea, you know? Conrad founded the Inquisition. Ah ha ha. Right. Conrad founds the Inquisition. Okay. But what I would do is I would have the Ordo Hereticus formed. Like, they start to form from Morty's influence. So we can have both at the same time, right? So the Ordo Hereticus, the anti-Psyker people, you know, the anti-witch people, burn the witch, right? They are very, 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 you know, a lot of their initial people, like the Dauntless few who were brought before the Emperor, are from Barbarous. We can do that, right? We can do it that way. Conrad founded the Inquisition, you know, but the Emperor gives it his rubber stamp of approval towards the end of the Horus Heresy, doesn't he? Right? We've still got that happening in our Exile verse. So why don't we have... You know, Conrad lays the foundation for the Inquisition. He starts it. But the Dauntless few who were brought before the Emperor, some of them are from Barbarous, and they go on to make the Order Hereticus. That'd be pretty cool. Alright. So I think from here, again, these videos are, by and large, going to get shorter, because we are on the back stretch now. We are on the back stretch of the Primarchs and who they are and what they're going to be doing, because we've already covered parts of their story in previous parts, because they've been involved in other Primarchs stories earlier on. So, and Morty's one of those. It's not going to take us very long, I don't think. Maybe, we'll see. So, I think the bulk of this video is going to be deciding how Mortarion falls to chaos. I've always kind of liked the fact that, I mean, the Emperor comes to Barbarous, and I think it's well known that, does Mortarion... Oh, yeah, here we go. Does Mortarion succeed? Does Morty succeed without Emperor's help on Barbarous? Now, this could go one of two ways. If we say yes, then he becomes a very, very, very powerful anti-psyker force in the galaxy, right? And I have another idea for that when we come to yes. If we say no, then that can be a big seed of resentment towards the Emperor. Of like, you know, I'm getting chastised for not dealing with this threat, but even you were nearly killed by it. You know what I mean? So you sent your son here to do what you can't do yourself on your own, and yet I'm chastised for not being able to conquer my own homeworld. You know? How does Morty get his hatred for Psychers? He's on a planet of Psychers who are literally annihilating his entire homeworld when he gets there. He's seen the cruelty Psychers do. How does... Yeah, he shouldn't let him fight his father and lose. Okay. Looks like I'll have to cast a deciding vote. I'll leave it for another minute. I have an idea for if we say yes, so don't worry. Slight tweaks to it, Damned Legion. Slight tweaks, I'd say. Well, again, okay. So if people are voting for no because they want Mortarion to be bitter, my idea... Let me give you my idea for yes, alright? Let me give you my idea for yes. I haven't decided either way. But if Mortarion beats this Psyker dude, or the Lord of Nurgle Psykers on Barbarous on his own, he then goes and starts purging the rest of the world in his sector, right? He becomes spacefaring, and he goes around literally nuking worlds that won't submit to him to get rid of the taint of Psykers, right? The Emperor turns up, and instead of like congratulating him, he's horrified, because the Emperor is also a Psyker, right? And the Emperor finds it quite difficult to be around Mortarion. Because Mortarion is an extremely anti-Psyker force. He was created that way, but also he's become even more that way since he's been here, right? He's become absolutely obsessed with killing Psykers, killing witches, right? Any sign of Psyker taint on a world, and he eradicates it. So his home sector goes from like 9 different vibrant worlds to like 3. Because those are like the really religiously staunch ones who just believe in a sky god, i.e. the Emperor, and nothing else. And he's like, yeah, that'll do, right? Any Psykers, though, he murders the entire planet. The Emperor gets there and chastises him and says, listen, you can't do that, like, you know. And Mortarion comes to the conclusion, why? Oh, I see. You're also a Psyker. I'm watching you, right? That's Mortarion's hatred of Psykers, right? He says to the Emperor, I'm watching you. I am watching you. You know, don't you know, don't go there, son. You know, he's the only one of the only Primarchs to look at the Emperor and go, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this guy, right? Maybe make Morty more anti-Psyker by making him a psychic null. Well, maybe. Alright. If you would like to change your choice regarding what I said just now, I know one person has. Let me know in the chat, and I'll add those votes. Alright? I'll add those votes. But that was my idea for if he does take on his own dudes, take on the Psycho Lord and Barbarous and wins on his own, right? He becomes extremely powerful. And he even looks at the Emperor like a shark looks at a morsel. You know, he's like, oh, you know, I can see you don't like being around me, Father. Why is that? You know, that kind of a thing. Do you have anything to confess? You know, that kind of thing. Of course, the Emperor's like, yeah, this guy's not going to take me. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't kill the Emperor, but the Emperor doesn't like being around him. And I think it'd be pretty cool. If the Emperor, in private with Malcador, says, I shouldn't have lost my cool like that. But there's something about him that just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I shouldn't have lost my cool. The Emperor never loses his cool, right? But he just said, no, there's something about Mortarion that just isn't right. And I don't want him around me. Alright, we've done 5 minutes as end poll there. And no one, I think. No, yes, one. Okay. So Mortarion will, that is the version we are going with then. So Mortarion takes down the Psyker Lords of Nurgle on his own planet, and then it starts eradicating all of the worlds around him that have the slightest taint of Psykers on them. He doesn't like Psykers. He's going around... And by the way, he doesn't have a legion, so he's doing this by hand, literally. Drop assault by normal troops, going in and eradicating entire places, nuking entire places. The actual Barbarous sector goes from having 9 nice worlds to having like 3. Having 3. And even those 3 are all wantonly religiously fervent and will just kill witches of their own accord, and Mortarion approves. It's okay, cool. You know? But when that sky god that they worship turns up, he is very, very, very perturbed by Mortarion. He doesn't like being around him. Mortarion is like a black void looking at him, right? And worse still, Mortarion is actually quite antagonistic. He's like, dude, you're a witch. My father's a witch. Ugh. You know, like, ugh. You know, like, oh, no. No, sir. No, you need to leave, right? He's not a fan of the Emperor at all. Let's have Mortarion be the only Primarch whom, like, worshipping the Emperor naturally doesn't come. He doesn't get it. He's like, why do you all love this guy so much? Like, you know. And somebody said make him a Psychic Null. I think it's a bit too much to say Mortarion's a Psychic Null. Remember how we do 40k lore? We hint at things. We don't tell people things, right? Let's give Mortarion all the skills of a Psychic Null without actually saying that's what he is. Right? You know? Maybe Mortarion's become a Psychic Null in the meantime. Right? In the meantime, he's become a Psychic Null. Yeah. Well, this Mortarion would turn traitor very easily, right? Let's be honest, right? If he looks at the Emperor like, dude, you're a witch, you're a piece of shit, right? You're a piece of shit. I don't like you at all, right? You know? Because I have a very, 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 I think, stringent idea here. Very good idea. So let's remember, Horus doesn't really become corrupted by the powers of chaos until he goes into the Molech sanctuary, right? And gets supercharged by the forces of chaos. He's just Horus, right? Before this. At least in our Exile verse he is. He doesn't have the taint of chaos yet. He's been swayed by the chaos gods to turn against the Emperor. But that's it. Right? That's it. He suffers from delusions of grandeur. He hasn't done much else. So why don't isn't your version of Melchior a psychic version already? Yeah, he's like the 11th Primarch, right? He may be, yes, but that doesn't mean we need to say that Mortarion is one, right? We can give Mortarion similar powers, but we don't need to, you know, make him one. Alright. Maybe Mortarion, now hear me out, maybe Mortarion only sees Horus right at the start of the Horus heresy, right? You know, maybe he only sees him right at the start. And Horus says to him, I'm turning against the Emperor. And all Mortarion says is, yes, son. Yes. Yes, bro. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. Fuck that witch bitch. Now we're going after him. Great. Fuck that guy. Right? psychics, witches shouldn't be allowed to rule the galaxy. You're right, Horus, right? Yeah? But hear me out. Hear me out. We'll do the Dusk Raiders in a bit, but hear me out, right? Right after that is when his ships are becalmed in the warp, right? And we get Nurgle saying, "Oh, really?" Right? How about this? Yeah? How about that? That's what we do. To really, really, really screw up Mortarion and make him really bitter. We turn him to chaos against his will. Because it's not always your will. Sometimes the gods just do what they want to you. And this is one of those times. Matthias says, maybe not a null, but highly resistant to psychic influences. He knows Big E manipulates the Primarchs and their memories, and he plays along. Yeah, I like that one. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. He's not a null, but he is highly resistant to psychic influences, yes. Because he's so one-shot mind, right? He's so there. That's all he does. He's one-track mind. He's like, literally, all psychers must die. Order must be restored, right? Order, order, order. Everything must be in its rightful place. Dead stay dead, alive stays alive, and that's what we do. That's Mortarion. Alright. Excellent. So we got that on the go. Let's do the Dusk Raiders. Are we changing the Dusk Raiders at all? Oh, so if you remember correctly, the Dusk Raiders were the Death Guard Legion before Mortarion comes along. And weirdly, they are given more backstory than a lot of other legions when they're on Earth. A lot more. They're actually not from Albania. People say they're from Albania. They're from Old Alba, which is the UK. They're from the UK. Don't know what that says about the Dower Death Guard, but there we go. They are actually from the UK. Old Alba. Not Albania. Lewitton said that in one of his videos, and he was wrong. If you go on the Wikipedia, not even that, if you listen to Rick Priestley and people like that, they will tell you, no, they're from Britain. It was an in-joke. They're from Britain. The original Dusk Raiders, the original Death Guard, were from Old Britain. There's no C's around it, of course, at that stage, but yeah, Old Alba. Maybe even Scotland. Maybe Scotland, because Alba is Scotland's old Celtic name. So there you go. Okay. I'm willing to say, because people seem to like the Dusk Raiders, I want to make them a bit more like Mortarion. I want to make them this wall of attack, right? They are this wall of wave after wave after wave of attack, just going for the dudes, right? Absolutely just going for dudes all the time, right? And let's make them extremely, almost word-bearer in their devotion to the Emperor as a god, as a thing, as a worthy of veneration, right? But they don't like psychers, you know. But again, these are Space Marines. They don't have the power to resist. They do not have the power to resist the Emperor's psychic domination, right? But they are not fans of witches. All right. Do we add those things to the Dusk Raiders, but do we keep them the same? Do we keep the Dusk Raiders same and give them more time in the light? It would be so easy to corrupt this Mortarion into being a traitor. Like so easy. He's basically a traitor already, you know what I mean? He's looking for an excuse. You could have Mortarion's followers whispering behind his back how his father switched building that hatred. Yeah, yeah. Could do that. For some reason, I always imagine the Death Guard to be as German due to the bioweapon thing. I know, but that's where they're from. That is a canon thing. I like Wanton's idea there. I say we do the calming thing a little later in the heresy to give the uncorrupted Death Guard a little action before they get turned into Plague Marines. Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do, we will move the corruption of the Death Guard to much later in the heresy, right? And Horus is a master manipulator, so why don't we have him be the spider at the centre of the web? Because he's been so good, in our Exile verse, Horus has been so good about like manipulating all of his brothers. Most of the brothers turn traitor because they're manipulated by the brother who loves them most, Horus. Right? So, with Mortarion, maybe Horus knows, like, Mortarion's fighting honourably in the Horus Heresy, and doing great work, by the way, in the Horus Heresy. But maybe Horus knows, when he goes to Molech and comes out, and he's now supercharged, he knows Mortarion won't stand for it, and will actually turn against him straight away, because he hates Psychers. Right? He won't fight for them. He said that before. So maybe it's Horus who enacts a ritual to become the Death Guard in the warp. He has Malagurst do that, right? How about that? How about that? How about Horus is the one, or Malagurst is the one, somebody from, you know, the sons of Horus is the one to start to become the Death Guard in the warp. And then we have the Typhus stuff. We have Typhus there already, right? We have Typhus there already. As an inside man. He's Nurgle's inside man, right? He's the guy there. Yeah, a conspiracy between Typhus, or Typhon, Horus, and Malagurst. Yes, exactly, yeah. Yeah. Alright. Death Guard, fight honorably in... in Horus Heresy. Horus. Oh, do you know what? I'm not going to write all that out. But let's just, you know. Do you like what I've said? What? Do you like Horus? Horus. Manufactures. Do you go fall? Right. When I say Horus manufactures Death Guard's fall, question mark, what I mean is, the Death Guard in our scenario, they fight well and honourably and uncorrupted for about 90% of the Horus Heresy, right? They are one of the heavy lifting legions. They get so many wins. We give them win after win after win after win, right? You know? Why don't we, right, as Mortarion's last act, this would be cool. As Mortarion's last act, before he's a Demon Primarch, right? Why don't we have the battle between him and Angron being a rematch? Yeah? Let's have Mortarion go and get Angron to basically call him to heel for the Siege of Terra. How's that? So Mortarion is sent by Horus to go and get Angron. Angron at this point is a demon, and literally Mortarion hates his fucking guts. He's like, you're a mad dog, that's all you are, you're getting in this box. And I'm taking you to Terra, we're going to throw you at Father, that's all you're good for, right? Yeah? And he beats Angron. Without demonic powers, he beats Angron. Through sheer logic. He just beats him. Kind of like what Perturabo did. But we gave Perturabo so many wins, I don't think he needs to beat Angron as well. You know? So why don't we have Mortarion going to Angron, right, saying, get in the box. we're going to Terra, get in the box, right? Angron, of course, refuses, they fight, Mortarion wins. Because he's cold and calculating and logical. He slams him into like a Tesseract vault, right? Gives that to a load of Imperial Guardsmen, traitor Imperial Guardsmen, says, take that to Horus. Right? Take that to Horus, and, you know, we'll be on our way. And that's what he does, right? The World Eaters stand down and go, whoa, where are you taking the Primarch, right? So they follow, right? And when they get to Horus, Horus calms things down, and obviously, you know, gets Angron to participate in the siege. Okay? Cool. Once Mortarion is done there, that is when Mortarion goes into the warp, and that is when he is becalmed. He's becalmed on his way to meet up with the rest of the traitors for their mustering before going towards Terra. How'd you guys like that? How's that? That's what we're doing. So we're giving Mortarion a big win over Angron, and it sort of mirrors what goes on in the Siege of Terra, because in the Siege of Terra, Mortarion loses against Angron, right? Because Angron's had more time to get used to his demonic powers, and also Mortarion is now a demon Primarch. And he doesn't use any of his demon Primarch powers, so he's actually held back by that. He sees himself as imperfect at that point. And we can have it happen exactly the same way. The one blind spot Mortarion has is his love for his sons. So that's what Nurgle preys on. He says, give in, or I'm going to literally, you know, keep your sons alive forever, and they will suffer forever in the warp here with me. And so will you, by the way. Or swear yourself to me, because there is no shame in that, right? If you swear yourself to me as like my angel, you're not just a psyker, right? You are literally, you know, all powerful. You can use this you can fight fire with fire. You can use this to take down all the psykers. You know? That's what you can do. He feeds on what he wants. And eventually, Mortarion gives in and says, okay, right, fine, right? And when he comes out of the warp, he's a broken man. He's a broken man. We can even have Mortarion at the Siege of Terra just going through the motions. It's so sad, right? He's just going through the motions. He just doesn't care anymore. Life has lost its meaning because he doesn't want to be a psyker. He doesn't want to be tainted by the warp. He should have said no. He should have died with honor. But he was too weak. Like, how fucking tragic is that? I feel for him. I'd collect this army. I'd be like, nah, Morty, we'll be alright, son. You know. And by the way, this Mortarion could be redeemed. This is a Mortarion that could be redeemed later on. You know. Durdu says, that could be a point made, that Nurgle doesn't love you, he loves what he makes of you. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. He'd be like Thor from God of War. Yeah, he would. Yeah. Alrighty, so, Mortarion now gets to the Siege of Terra, and we know how that goes. Right? Why Nurgle? Why not Malal? Dude, we are way into this now. I'm not going to go back to the start and do Malal instead. Malal would maybe work better, but you are then losing your Plague Marines. Remember that, damned Legion. If we go with Malal, you're losing the Plague Marines. Yeah? It doesn't mean we can't have Malal later on. Maybe he tries to get his hands on Mortarion's soul from Nurgle. That would be quite cool. But for now, we stick with Nurgle. It makes more sense with the narrative. We don't change everything about him. So he goes through the Siege of Terra. and he's beaten by Angron, right? Because Angron is now used to his powers. Mortarion refuses to use his powers, and Mortarion is banished to the warp, and that is his place in the Horus Heresy done, right? He's done at that point. A very, very, very sad end to Mortarion. But he does get a lot of wins and a lot of love. And he even beats Angron without being a Psyker, which is incredible in itself, right? You know? We could even have him, when he's beating Angron earlier, we could even have him like considering whether he should just kill him. He's absolutely at his mercy. I could just end it for him now. This wretch deserves, you know, literally, he shouldn't live like this as a Psyker. Ugh, right? On Terra, he's just waiting to be beaten, praying to be killed. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Exactly. Maybe over the 10,000 years, right, he is tortured by Nurgle in the warp and sent back again and again and again and again and again to fight for him. And that slowly like breaks down his walls to the point where he becomes like a berserker. Like he's not thinking anymore. He is literally a walking plague now. And his real psyche is buried so deep that it's just locked away. And now he's this self-hating demonic plague. Right? We don't characterize Mortarion. Right? Mortarion's literally a force of nature. You know? He should get a Primarch kill. Not every Primarch gets one of those. And that's just how it is. Not even in the real lore, not every Primarch gets one of those. I'd like to keep those rare. Very rare. Now, defeats. We've given lots of Primarchs defeats by other Primarchs. That is also rare. And Mortarion has one of those. He doesn't just have one of those. He has one of those where he beats a Demon Primarch when he's not a Demon Primarch. Which is huge, right? So, you know. I would have 40k and Mortarion being this, you know, warped, almost possessed version of himself. But his real psyche's buried deep. He's utterly regretful, you know. And shouldn't have trusted Horus, and he knows that now, right? He shouldn't have trusted Horus. So how about that? How about that? So we have 40k Angron. That's right, Mortarion. Abused. Broken. Whoops. 40k Angron. Mortarion. Sorry. Abused. Broken. And regretful. A walking plague. Of despair. There we go. So, 40k Angron is abused, broken and regretful, a walking plague of despair, is what he is. Let's not forget what Nurgle is, by the way. You know what I mean? It's not nice. He's like how a poxwalker, where they are only passengers in their own body. Yes, exactly, yeah. He's basically the world's most powerful poxwalker. Basically, essentially, yeah. Yeah. He doesn't want free will. He doesn't want to look at what his body's doing. You know? Maybe that'd be interesting if he comes across Gilliman, and now it's like Gilliman sort of sees something in him. You know? That'd be quite cool. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It could be the reason why Gilliman beats him in the Plague Wars. His art isn't in it anymore, yeah. Or maybe even the noble spirit of Mortarion is rebelling inside of this demonic shell. And it's like, no, and is like subtly corrupting things from the inside in the Death Guard. That'd be pretty cool. So like he's technically loyalist, right deep down, you know, regretful, lashing out, you know. And it would also leave things open for when the Emperor returns, because the Emperor will return in the Exileverse, remember? He will come back. So I have a final question for you. once this, I think we're done voting this one. It's going to be 100%. So, I have a final question for you. All right. Is Mortarion redeemed by the Emperor returned, by the Emperor's avatar? Is Mortarion redeemed in the end? We put him through a lot. Is Mortarion redeemed in the end? Yeah, it doesn't mean his legion goes with him. But is he redeemed in the end? It could be Typhus leading the Death Guard, right? We could even see a splinter in the Death Guard. But is Mortarion redeemed in the end? But the Emperor does come back in the Exile verse. We'd already covered that in our very first part. We covered that, right? We got him off the Golden Throne. Somebody replaces him and his avatar returns. But in a far more diminished state, you know. But seeing the Emperor, you know, yeah, Dudu's got a good point there. Dudu's got a very good point. Mr. Awesome reacts, no, because it would rob it of its tragic element. The idea that he fell unwillingly to chaos and will never be the same again. True, true. Mr. Awesome says, I think he should have a Frankenstein thing where every once in a while his memories flash in his head before disappearing. Yeah. Yeah, he like comes back and like tries to wrestle control the body again. That'd be quite cool. And let this play out for a little while. Is Mortarion redeemed in the end? Now, just because he's redeemed doesn't mean he's alive. Remember. We'll close that poll. So he is going to get redeemed. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. There are two scenarios where Mortarion could be redeemed. Right? The Emperor comes to him, and the Emperor has a body waiting for him. An empty shell. Ready to go. Now, it's only a Space Marine shell, but a really powerful one. So he's custom made a Custodes, right? Let's say a custom made Custodes with no soul. The Emperor eradicated this poor guy's soul, and he says to Mortarion, "I can take your soul out and put it in this, and you can fight for me again if you want." Right? But what does Mortarion say? The other side of the bargain is the Emperor says, "And if you don't want that, I won't leave you like this. If you don't want that, I can give you oblivion. I can make sure that you will never have to suffer again, and your soul will be obliterated." Yeah? Because we know that's what's happening now. So, what do we have? What happens? Emperor puts Mort. How is Mortarion redeemed in the Exile verse? How is he redeemed? The Emperor puts Mortarion's soul in a new body, a custodian's body, or does he eradicate his soul to give him mercy, to give him the Emperor's peace? He can't leave his sons behind. He didn't only doom himself. Oh, Durdu, maybe. All right. If getting the soul put into his body wins, let's have him. Let's have him still be resentful then, when he comes back. Of I wanted to die. He said, I know I wanted to die. You took that. You didn't give me the choice to die. You manipulated me again. Right? So he still fights for the Emperor, but he's like this lone, wandering, berserk gut type figure, you know? That's if he comes back, in my opinion. He shouldn't come back as the Emperor's staunchest ally. He should come back as a useful tool for the Emperor, if he does come back. But he still doesn't like the Emperor. Or, the Emperor could mercy kill his soul, one of the two. I know you say neither, Matthias, but that people voted and they said they wanted him to be redeemed, so now we're doing how is he going to be redeemed? Which one is going to happen? That'd be a cool thing for his new body to do, Powerwolfen, yeah. So if he comes back as that would be a good way of getting through to Mortarion, I think. If the Emperor says to him, listen, what good do you think you're going to do inside of that body? If I put you in this body, at least you can wander the galaxy trying to find a way to help your sons. But what good are you going to do locked away inside that mind? Right? What good are you going to do locked away inside that mind? At least if you're in this body, you can do something about it. You may not be yourself anymore, but you can do something about it. Oh, 50-50. 50-50. Okay, so Emperor puts Morty's soul in the new body is tragic but hopeful, because Mortarion still doesn't get what he wants. He wants to die, right? But at least now he's got a chance of saving his sons in the future. But he's still lost everything. His Death Guard is still tragically warped, you know? He's now a one-man legion, that's it. That's all he's got. Or, number two, is a truly tragic end, where the Emperor sees what's happened to Mortarion, Mortarion wants death, and the Emperor finally giving in to his own empathy, kills Mortarion's soul. Ending his story completely. Don't make me choose. We'll get to 5 minutes. If we get to 5 minutes, I will cast a vote here to swing it one way or the other. Powerwolfen says he becomes the Reaper that brings mercy to the corrupted. That's right, Mr. Awesome. He might want to die after all that time suffering, but what if the Emperor doesn't give him a choice? Again, takes away his choice. He says, I don't even have the right to die. You're just like Nurgle. You're just as fucking bad as Nurgle. That'd be an interesting conversation. Right? Mortarion wakes up in like a custodian's body and is like, you're as bad as him. You're as bad as him. You may not have tortured me for all this time, but at least you had the choice. to give me death? And you said no, because I'm useful to you. Alright, we're at 5 minutes. Ending the poll. 50-50. Alright, oh, this is the first 50-50 we've had. Truly 50-50 thing that we've had. This is mental. Alright, that's cool, Matthias. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Alright, yeah. Let's run with that idea. So, to keep it tragic, the Emperor asks Mortarion during the Plague Wars, right? When he's speaking to him through Guilliman, he says, listen, you know, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And Mortarion says, death. Death. I want to stop hurting that. And the Emperor says, that's not going to work for me, brother. That's not going to work for me, son. So he takes his soul out and puts it in a custodian, in the blank custodian. Mortarion is asleep for a long time, right? But his demonic self is still there, still out there somewhere. But his soul is now split in two. So Mortarion's hatred and rage and bitterness are all in the demon Primarch, whereas Mortarion wakes up in a new custodian body, nowhere near as powerful as a demon Primarch, but still a custodian, right? With the skills of a Primarch, you know, the vitality of a Primarch, and he wakes up and he says to the Emperor, "You're just as bad as him. You're just as bad as Nurgle, because Nurgle is just evil." Right, and he has no choice in it. That's just what he is. I know because I've been around him a lot. Right, that's just what he is. He's pure evil. You had the choice to be good or evil, and you chose to go against my wishes again. You manipulated me again. So fuck you. Right, I'm not gonna go free my sons now. Kiss my ass. And the Emperor just goes, okay, fine, okay. You want to do that? Fine, right. Again, I just remembered we don't really have the Plague Wars in the Exile verse because Guilliman and the Emperor are two separate people. But let's have the Emperor helping out Guilliman, and this is one of the times where they unite, and this is what the Emperor does with Mortarion, right? You know, but the Emperor says that he's a useful tool even if he's not with me. He's going around killing Death Guard and being a thorn in the eye of chaos. That's good enough for me, right? And Mortarion adopts this lone wanderer aesthetic. You may even get like a war band around him of like mutual people who are worshipping maybe even Malal, right? He has Malal worshippers with him who hate chaos in all of its forms. Mortarion is just as xenophobic and absolutely mental in terms of purity as always. So pure that people who worship Malal come to him and start following him, right? And he goes and he hunts down Death Guard, and he tries to uncorrupt them or put them out their misery, right? He becomes the Dark Angels if the Dark Angels had balls. He literally, he says, you know, repent or death, join me again or death. And most of the Death Guard can't. And here's the bad thing, even if the Death Guard want to, but their bodies won't obey them because they're too corrupted, Mortarion still kills them. How fucking tragic is that? Even if the Death Guard want to, but they're too corrupted, Mortarion kills them outright. Anyway. Maybe he uses Renegade Astartes like how Turin Turambar led the Goal Wraith and the Children of Furin. Yeah. It would be funny if people start praising him as a custodian, not knowing he's Mortarion. Yes, exactly. And with that tragic ending, I think the most tragic of the Primarch so far is complete. We have him complete. He is done. He is done. We're going to slap a done. I know not everybody got what they wanted, but that's not what it's about. It's about democracy, right? If you vote for something, I'll run with it. That's what this is all about, right? If you vote for something, I'll run with it and I'll try and make it as good as I can. All I am here to do is make sure that if we have people like Matthias, right? If we have people like Matthias whose ideas aren't being represented in the final product, at least I can take some of his ideas and meld them into what it ends up as, right? So even if you all vote against somebody like that, right, I can always take their ideas and meld them in together, even though we have this, Mortarion being redeemed in the end, right? So that is our Mortarion. Would he also be capturing Psychers for the Golden Throne? Don't know. Don't know. You can do that if you want to. Even more democracy than on election day. He grants them the death he never received. Yes, Durdu. Exactly. 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 He grants them the death he never received. See, it's like poetry. It rhymes. I like it. I like it. He's still tragic. He is tragic. Yeah, he's got to kill his own sons, and only like maybe 1 in 10 sons he gets back, right, are actually able to be brought over to his side again, and those he kind of coddles and sees as like his main thing, right? These are my bros. These are my dudes. I'm not losing these again, sort of a guy. Thing is, it's also us having our cake and eating it, right? Because we keep we keep corrupted Mortarion, right? Demon Mortarion's still there. Half of his soul is still in the Mortarion Demon Prince, right? But we've also got a really cool custodian character running around with a shard of Mortarion's soul inside of it. All the good parts of him. Will the Void Seers and their Primarch be used again in future rewrites? It was probably my weirder stories that I did. Maybe, man, maybe. Man, we definitely shouldn't do a narrative campaign where Morty invades Nurgle's garden. That'd be awesome. Loyalist Mortarion invading Nurgle's garden. That'd be awesome. That'd be brilliant. I would also have Mortarion be like ultra like anti-demon. Like even the Chaos God shouldn't be able to touch him after all this. Really, they shouldn't be able to touch him after all he's been through. Plus, he knows all their tricks. He knows all their tricks. Wanton says, do you think we should do a vid like this for the Chaos Gods? Not like a major redo since they're so fundamental, but maybe adding an extra spin on them. Like having Slaanesh be bloated like in Age of Sigmar. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Yeah. Imagine him and Kaldor Drago fighting together. Dude, don't get me moist. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. Next time we have... What do we have next time? Space Marine Legions. What do we have next time? We have... It should be the Thousand Suns, right? Yeah, Thousand Suns next week. So your homework for next week is to look at the previous videos and rejig your minds on where Magnus was. Because Magnus was integral to, I think it was Lehman Russ's story. So we need to do the Lehman Russ story. We need to know what is going on with Magnus. And we'll be back next week for that one. Tomorrow's video, so you all know, you've all got a bit of a preview. Here we go. This is tomorrow's video. Now this video made me chuckle quite a lot. 40k tournament bro lust after Keeper of Secrets. I shit you not. This is one of the wilder hobby nightmares I've ever read out. So, yeah. Yes. This is one of the wilder ones. I didn't even... I laughed, but I didn't laugh too much. I was so disgusted and weirded out by it. But tune in tomorrow for that one. 6:15 UK time. You'll love it. It is a bit of a, shall we say, a mind bender. That somebody can have such warped thoughts about, a model. But there we go. There we go. They live among us, folks. They live among us. They really do. Russ killed him, right, on Prospero? I think so, but I'm going to have to go back and look at the previous video to see what the hell happened. Anyway, I'm going to go get something to eat. I love you a long time. I will speak to you very, very, very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll be back with some more hobby nightmares tomorrow. See you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.